So, like I was saying in my last video, I really believe that the White House and these so-called elected officials, we need a face change. Like, we need to gut everything out and really look for really representing the blue collars, the American people out here. I just really feel like a lot of these folks, because mommy and daddy was in politics, or you went to college for it, but you have no grasp or understanding of what the middle class folks are dealing with. They don't need to be in office. They really don't need to be in office. It's like, why would I hire someone who has no experience whatsoever, but I'm supposed to choose you because you got a degree? So, they're talking about this whole government shutdown because the right and the left, the Democrats and Republicans, can't seem to agree on jack. And I really feel like, they have been, I feel like as an American, I have been pimped. Like, you work so hard and you look at your bank account and you look at your paycheck at the end of the week, and that extra $500-$600 that could have went into your household is going overseas because Biden want to pick and choose what he wants to do with it. But I'm the worker though, so I really feel like these people don't represent Americans. They really don't. And we need to really we need to re-gut it. Like, I would much rather see folks that have been in social work or in property management, folks that understand the structure of building wealth because they help build wealth, someone who served, the people, and they understand the jobs that it entail and what you have to go through. But folks who never even been in that, I just feel like, why are you even running anything right now? Because I feel like it's so easy for someone to come and corrupt and say, look, if you vote for this, we'll give you like $10 million. You and your family will be taken care of. But we need you to go ahead and vote for this. You're like a lot. I really feel like folks got in office and they got bought out by money. And it shows. It shows. I think they show Nancy Pelosi, she only makes 200,000 a year, but yet she's worth 130 $30 million. Where'd you get that type of money when you only make 200,000 a year? Now, don't get it twisted. People have their little side business and everything, but it's called corruption at its finest. And I'm getting to the point where it's like, okay, I try to stay away from politics, but now this is like, I'm feeling it at the gas pump. Um, I'm hearing other people feel it. I'm dealing with other people's situations. We're trying to make sure that they can have funding to keep roofs over their heads. And it's like, these dudes, y'all sitting up in office in suits and you laughing with your cocky smiles and you're not doing a daggone thing. You all need to be fired. Every last one of you. You're not representing the American people. And we need to recut it. We need to regut it and really put some folks in there that, I'm so serious when I say this. I would much rather vote for folks that understand. Like, we need people in office that's going to understand. We need to build houses over here, over here. We need to like, for instance, with the food. Food should not be this daggone high when we got all this land in America. Oh no, I know why it cost that much, because somebody decided that they wanted to imitate an apple. So they put maybe 50 cents on it, but the real apple, oh, that's gonna cost you. That's gonna cost you to eat healthy. Those people need to be locked up and in jail. We should be able to, if I was the president of this country, I would make sure all of the Americans in this country are fed very well. We're not doing hormone nothing. Your country can do that, but we gonna eat good. We gonna look good. We gonna live a long time, because when you got a healthy society, they thrive. So we got all of this mess going on and all of this tainted food, all for $1. Whoever decided to pass that you can just put fluoride in water to be fired. The manufacturers, the companies, all of them need to be fined and fired, shut down completely. Man, if I was, let me tell y'all, if I was one of y'all officials, I would go in there and clean house. So you've been tainting food, huh? You've been making sure that the farmers don't reseed, huh? Because you want to own the patent on a seed, huh? I'll shut it all down. I'll shut it down. I'll shut it down so quickly, just like when Biden went up in there and pulled that pipeline. I would go up in there and be like, I would do a Donald Trump. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. And go around suing people for any and everything like they did Donald Trump. I would shut down. I will honestly shut down YouTube as well. I will redo YouTube. You allowed these people to sign up years ago, and then when it came to what the topics they wanted to talk about, you shut them down. Oh, I'll go after YouTube as well. I'll go after everybody. And they talk about Biden went up in there and they never seen a president do so many executive orders. Watch Ramona get done with them. We've never seen so much free land. We can't even believe that Mexico is now a part of the United States of America. Yes, I went and took it all. I would. I'm not even playing. Like, I will fire all of these so-called. I'll be looking at. Let me see what your bank account look like. Mm-hmm. And the whole time you're not even representing the people. It should not cost somebody $20 to get a bag of potatoes. We were supposed to be thriving, which means your um your plan doesn't work, sir. You have to have a budget for these things. You know what I mean? That's why I think people that need to be in office are folks that dealt with the public. Like me, I deal with the public. I have housed people, I have served people, and I mean it. And I said this in my last videos. I have Ubered, dropped you off, dropped your food off, picked up your daggone groceries, and moved you into your new apartment and house. I understand as a citizen of what type of money people are dealing with nowadays. You got to pick and choose whether or not you're going to pay your electricity bill or you're going to go grocery shopping. And then it seems like some of the money or this so-called funding is only for a certain group of people. And I'm gonna tell you another thing too. What I'm finding out. I mean, I realized why they started putting that $600 tax on Cash App, because remember when everybody was doing good with their videos, it was like, you can Cash App me. And folks is walking away with bank. And the government was like, we got to get some of that money too. This is what I need. I'm trying to understand this, okay? My state just sent me a letter and said, you owe us $4,000. And if you don't pay it come February, when your tags are on renew, you're not going to be able to renew. This is how much you made, and this is how much you owed. And I'm like, let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. First of all, I worked in another state, and that state took the money out. So when I do my taxes, I would have to basically get the money back from the state and give it to the state that I lived in. But let's talk about the state that I do live in. Number one, I pay a mortgage in the state that I live in, so I pay taxes on that house that I live in. Okay, let's talk about the gas. When I pay for gas, I pay for taxes. When I pay the food for the state that I live in, it's taxes. Everything everything that I have done, everything that I have done in the state that I live in, I paid everything, all of, okay. say for instance, if I made $100,000 a year or whatever, and you know the government like to take their stuff, so you really walking home with like $50,000. That $50,000 went to the state that I live in because I'm paying for everything in that state. So how dare you sit up here and talk about you owe this amount of money? I had GBT chat to write me a letter and say, look, I need you to write me a letter. Because number one, I don't owe you that much because the state that took the money basically told me when it was time for my refund, they adjusted it. It was like, we don't owe you that much. So therefore, I don't owe you that much. But how dare you say you're not going to renew my tags when I'm working in the state and paying you right now out of my paycheck? So who's being pimped here? We pay for everything. Everything we pay for, taxes, 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 taxes. And then the money goes to Ukraine for what? I don't care for what's going on over there. They ain't got nothing to do with my household. But that mortgage better be on time, and them taxes better be on time with that house, because if you don't pay your taxes on your home, they can snatch that daggone house up. You can pay off a house and you can pay $600,000 on your home and pay it up in full and lose your house for $2,000 because you owe taxes. So who's being pimped here? And how much taxes are y'all? Okay, we're not even going to talk about the diplomats here. So, in my line of work, I know my background property management. I have moved diplomats in, and they making daggone 300,000 a year. And guess what? I don't pay any taxes. You don't pay no taxes. No, I'm a diplomat. But you got a car. You going shopping. You doing all. Who's being pimped here? See, I need to go. I need to run an office. I'm changing all of that. I'm changing it all. See, the issue is that the people that work for us, they walking around like they are bosses. But when I look at my paycheck, where's the rest of it? Oh, that's taxes. Where's the rest of it? This is like literally, people don't want to compare it to slavery, because slavery, they were enslaved and it was against their will, because you don't have to work. You could be broken or bumming on the streets. And at one point in time, people learn how to pimp the system by, coming over here. And I can't lie about that. I know folks that were contractors, and they only wanted you to pay them in cash. Never could understand it at the time. I thought, hey, I'm getting a great deal, but it's so they can duck and dodge the taxes so they can get paid under the table. They making a living, they giving you, and I ain't gonna lie. I took advantage of some of that stuff. I got some work done and paid for it in cash. But hey, I saved 80%, and the person got paid. But now the government caught on to that, and that's why they want to put a tracer on everything. If I send $50 over to my sister, if that accounts to $600 within a year, my sister has to pay taxes on that stuff now. It's called greed, man. We want everything. Okay, even when you look at it like this, like look at this. See them cameras right there? Do you think whether or not those cameras are really to help reduce car crashes, or is it really to make sure they get their money? When they found out them cameras can produce millions and millions of dollars, man, they started hiding cameras all over the daggone place. And no, they wasn't going to do no forgiveness, and you couldn't really fight a ticket, because the purpose of the camera is to make money. So it has really snowballed into something huge, that these people have lost their rabbit minds, where they forget, you work for us, you work for me. You're supposed to be making sure I eat good. You're supposed to be making sure our roads and our homes and the American dream, people can afford homes. It should never be, oh no, you can't afford this. This house will cost you $900,000. I feel like as long as you are working and you're able to pay rent somewhere, you should be able to get a house somewhere. Period. And that means that if we have to rebuild the infrastructure, that on all classes will be able to afford a house, included the homeless. They shouldn't just have little tents somewhere. We should be able to put two 4x4s or whatever you want to call it, four walls up so people can have the dignity to live the way to crawl up in a space and have a roof over their daggone heads. How dare we go across seas somewhere and we offer billions and trillions of dollars, and yet we can't even get our own house together. And another thing too, now, have you heard of this new baby credit? If you have a baby, the government's going to give you $2,000. And you want to know why? It's because they have found that we got a huge gap within the last 15 years. Ain't nobody been popping out babies. Well, government, that was your fault for aborting the babies. Now you got this huge issue in your hands. You should have learned from China when they were sitting up there killing their daggone girls. And now China got a huge issue. They got more boys than girls. These people are stupid. These people are stupid, and they need to be fired. All of them need to be fired. They need to be living in the neighborhoods that we live in. They need to be working at these jobs that we work at. They need to do that. But what we're not going to do is keep giving y'all money, and y'all making well over 400,000 or 500,000 a year, and you living on the hill trying to tell the little people what to do. And at the same time, you taking out of my paycheck, trying to relate to somebody. I will honestly say this, black people, you need to vote smarter next time. All of y'all went ahead and jumped on the Democrat vote. Black lives matter. But again, worry about your own neighborhoods when you got Pookie and them hanging on the corner smoking and drinking, and somebody's baby just got popped by a drive-by, and we all know it came from a black person. Yeah, if I was president, I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. I'm going to try to figure what happened from the 70s, the 60s, the 70s. It's never wise to say back then was more better than now, because it wasn't. It's a new day, but we should be more brighter and smarter. What's due to us is what's due to us. You should be able, Americans, you should be able to take a vacation and not have to worry about going broke. Okay? And anyone that comes over here and wants to be an American and fight for this country side by side with us and abide by our rules and regulations, they should get with the crew. Get with the crew. But don't come over here trying to switch things up when your whole country was corrupt because of what you believed in. You get what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people say when Californians and folks from LA try to go abroad to Texas and all this other type of stuff, they tell them, don't be coming over here with your views. Because that's the reason why y'all state sinking like that. And stinking. I'm just saying. I am so serious. I'll be doing, I'll be like, no, the American people deserve this. They deserve that. They deserve this. They deserve that. We're not even going to fake. And housing should not be expensive at all. That's a necessity. Not a necessity. It's something that it is. It's something that we need. Okay. Water. Remember at one point in time, air was free. Now in some places they want to charge for it. It's certain things that you shouldn't touch, like the naturalness of food. If I was the president of the United States of America, I want all my citizens to be healthy. So I would ban any type of whatever you pushing in food that's not natural. I would ban it all. You can't do it in my country. I would also watch I will also watch the rates of the market. I will also put a cap on how much, because it's not you living. We should be able. We got so much land. We should be able to build, and everybody should be able to afford their own roof in their own backyard. And we should be able to give incentives to citizens if they plant, if they're gardening, if they're contributing back to society, not focusing on robots to do it, or we just basically ordering all our stuff overseas. Nothing's made over here because we getting it overseas, so we are relying overseas. No, I would be putting incentives for folks that, moms and pops and entrepreneurs that are basically coming up with ideas to make a better way, a better future for us to all live and enjoy. I will also too make sure mandate, like, people need more than just 2 weeks of vacation time and just certain holidays. We work like crazy. We already working 8 hours, and some of y'all doing 10, 12 hours a day. How are you ever going to be productive if you don't get enough rest? There's other countries that enjoy their ocean fronts and their views, and they have just enough for them to do what they need to do. They work for a little bit of time and they chill. But over here, we work like freaking robots. So I will redo that, redesign that. Since we want to redo, isn't it crazy how you try to redefine what a man and a woman is, but you can't even redefine the infrastructure of what we're dealing with right now, because we're headed down the wrong way and it's not working. So yeah, I will go up in and be like, "You're fired." I'll have it on live too, so the American citizens can see this person right here. They've been coming up with all types of vaccines that make no sense to push in your body and try to poison you. They're fired. And then I'll go like, this person right here, they've been trying to take the naturalness out of seeds and fruits and vegetables that can bring healing to our body. You're fired. This person right here, they want to redefine exactly who we are. And this is a threat to the human race. You're fired. Oh, I would be firing everybody. So we brought a whole new team of folks up in here. I would have literally a slew of team of how can we not dumbing down our society, not making our society lazy but more productive, and at the same time, I would want Americans to be able to travel, and it's not gonna cost them a whole year's of wages. I would have a team to try to figure out how we can, you know, put our people on a, how can I say, a whole team to just try to figure out how we can come up with creative ways for Americans to relax and enjoy life. A happy society is a productive society. I'll also go after the things, the stuff that y'all been putting in the airways. Trust me, they wouldn't be ready for the girl. Because I ain't playing no games, and I don't care who in their feelings. Excuse me, y'all. This plane wasn't in his lane, and he was about to hit me. I had to remind him, get over. Because I'm not getting in no accidents today, tomorrow, this week, this month, this year, next year, or the year after that. So anywho, so yeah, like I would literally look into, like, I don't understand it. Like, what was the issue? It's like the market. You can't be pushed. It's not fair that you will put $2 million on this house knowing that the average American cannot afford it, but then somebody else that comes from out of the country into the country say, I'll buy it. It's not fair. That's not fair. So somebody, a lot of people like money talks, and that's the corruptness about it. When you have your top officials that will overlook your way of life over money, over the dollar. And they forget that the reason why you're supposed to be doing this is for the people. You got to come up with a solution. And the solution is y'all not working and all y'all need to be fired. Y'all all about politics, and in the news media make it look like y'all celebrities in the politics field. All of them need to be fired. In the news too. I know George Soruso, he owns some of that stuff. He's some of that stuff need to be snatched away. The free press need to be the free press again. When people actually would tell you some real news, when you had um news reporters actually go out in the field and they literally telling you, I'm over here and this is what's going on around the corner, and as you can see we got our cameraman. Instead these chicks, they putting on makeup, they look like they about to go down a runway, they got their faces and stuff done, and they read from the same script, and you think and you wonder why people don't look at mainstream news anymore. So you said less people you hear cat gaming. What if we weren't born because our parents felt less people opinion? Man, Summer, let me tell you something. If Planned Parenthood was back like if they were on a block like they was now, half of us wouldn't even be born. Because they put the pressure on people killing their own offspring just so they can use them for their own weird science game. And everything I say is truth. It may not come out as political, or it may not come out as, whatever, but you get what I'm talking about. I will go. I'm trying to tell you, let me go up in there. I'm cleaning house. I'm cleaning house. I'll be like Joe Clark out here. I am cleaning house. I'm like, you know what? You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. You have done nothing for the American people. And then you take all the money over here, and why are we spending money in our own country? So yeah, so how dare my state try to tell me, if you don't pay this money, we're not going to renew your life. You're not going to oh, so what you're trying to say is all of the thousands of dollars that I give you out of my paycheck, get out of here. They're going to get a nice letter from me. How dare you try to insult my intelligence? Tell me, if you don't pay this money, you're not going to be able to make a living. You're not going to be able to make that paycheck, so we can take half of it. And that's way more than what you saying I owe. I need to understand, why am I paying so much taxes? Taxes. You can't even ride down the street without a daggone camera looking at you. I got a ticket from DC, and you know what the ticket was? Because you failed to stop at a stop sign. Y'all got cameras at stop signs now, and I know money hungry bastards. Excuse my mouth. Y'all really all about the dollar. If we treated these politicians like they treat us, they wouldn't even know. They'd be like, oh hell no. They get up in office and they switch like 10 speeds. They go to meetings and have dinners and treat it like freaking royalty, and they forget where they came from. We gotta remind them, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma'am. But you've been in office a long time, and you've been taking up space. You've been taking the American people's money. You're fired. You're fired. They don't even know how to run the country. Okay. Prime example. Yeah, like I said, y'all already know my background as a property manager. If you got a lot of riffraff going on in property, you clean it up. You got folks coming over and doing crazy stuff, and they don't even stay there. Most of the time, we put up a fence. I don't understand why these people logically they're just dumb. And I'm like, you can't pop. You know what? The degrees ain't working. We need some regular folks. We need folks that's out here. Folks that get up and they not gonna switch on us like these people have. We need some folks that really work with their hands and they understand how to build stuff. They didn't just order it online. But see, like I said, when money is involved, people are not gonna give up their money like that. You know what I mean? They print it like crazy. How you be trillions of dollars in debt and still you be like, we're gonna print some more money. Somebody doesn't know how to balance a check, okay? And you have done a horrible job. Again, we got all of this land. We got people that want to come over and be a part of the American people. We can create jobs that will bring more, that will put more. We can create a society where people don't have to be overburnt and dusted. Like some of these people that are now hitting that retirement age, they're not even living 5 years enough to even enjoy their social security or their pensions or their retirement. They're not even enjoying it. You know why? Because the government that milked you until you got of age to the point you can't even afford it by the time you do retire. And I'm not even going to talk about opium because that alone, them folks need to be is it not opium? What do they call when you work for the government and you retire? Them people need to be fired. That's why I don't believe in those retirements, because I've seen my own father only enjoy 2-3 years of it, and it took him 20 light years just to get it. They wait till you broken down and you not even used no more. You got a bad back because you've been out there working the whole time while they take it from your paycheck. And they wait until you get of age and now you're deemed retired. Okay. And you can't even you as an elder person, you can't even get no help when you're the one who put in for what we got today. But yet and still they'll take that money and send it to Ukraine. They'll take your sons and your daughters and send them overseas to be blown up. They'll sit up here and say, "Oh, you can run as long as you got a lot of money." They all need to be fired. I do not even understand how Pelosi, or whatever her name, how long she could have been the speaker, and y'all allowed her to be up there making a mockery and didn't understand a daggone thing. She disrespected our commander in chief, Donald Trump, when she was up there. How could you even allow this woman to have a job after that? Most jobs, that's why I said we need regular folks up there. Because most jobs would have been like, that's not proper protocol. Whatever you had going on or whatever beef you had going on with Donald Trump, you don't ever let the American people see you disrespect him. And because of that, we don't want you in office no more. That was it, and that was all. You couldn't have did that with your boss if you went to work, now, right? With your supervisor, you couldn't have disrespected him like Pelosi did. You wouldn't have had a job. You would have got a nice daggone letter that you are no longer an employee here. So how could she even be representing the American people with her disrespectful behind? Anyway, that's why sometimes I try to just say, no, Mona, cool your jets. Because it's really just, when I look at things, I'm just like, this is wrong. And I am not exaggerating. I say I am seeing more homeless foreign people in this country. I see them out on the blocks with their children with a sign saying, please help homeless. And they're not from here. I've never seen that much poverty in this land like this. What have y'all done? What have you done? You can't do anything. Like I said, I was even thinking, you come up with an idea, you come up with a business. The state says, yeah, yeah, we love it. Because what they want you to do is produce so they can tax the mess out of you so you can pay them for the business that you have. It gets to the point where I get it. We all have to do our part to make sure that our roads and things are nice and neat so we can be able to drive them. But now y'all got real greedy to enough that y'all got so much money, y'all can go and splurge it on another country that don't care 2 cents in a nickel about me or mine. I don't believe in abortions, but you taking tax dollars to send it overseas to kill unborn babies. And I'm like, this has nothing. First of all, I'm against it. And you really gonna do this? So again, we need the regular Joes in office. I'm tired of these folks. I don't care about what college and schools you went to. If you can't relate to the American people, you need to get out of there. If you causing damage, you need to be fired. You trying to let me tell you something too. The poverty mindset in these neighborhoods, they'll put a liquor store in a heartbeat, but they won't put any natural stores where you can go in and your children can go in and buy an apple for 10 cents or a pear for 20 cents. No, oh no, that's a luxury to eat healthy. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to put liquor stores and smoke shops so your kids can be drunks and alcoholics. And then we're going to put a DeVita shop right in your neighborhood because we know that their kidneys ain't no good because we help mess them up. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm Ramona Hines and I approve this message. I'm not even playing like I do want to run. I can see him right now. I'm bringing up my past. Don't you only believe in marriage between a male and a female? I sure do. What's the problem? What about those who believe in unicorns? Look, unicorns ain't real. But if they believe in that, then that's their business. Tired of sitting up here sucking up to some nasty folks, man. Folks that sit up here and they trample on your way. I remember, this is the thing. I'm old enough to remember how things were. And I'm not sitting up here saying that. I'm not sitting up here saying that. I'm not saying that years ago was much better. But one thing we wasn't tripping about these gas prices. Let me see if I can show y'all these gas prices. We wasn't tripping about those things. Oh, please. Gas was the last thing you needed. You could be like, give me 5 on 20. And you was able to ride around and relax. You was able to go to the grocery store and get you a bag of apples. And you only spent like $1 and some change, maybe $2 for it. You was able to do that. And the crazy part about it, they were real. You were able to get some like the chicken was real. None of this stuff was pumped with all this crazy stuff in it. You were able to do those things. That's all I pretty much gotta say. But these politicians, they need to be fired. And I'm really convinced nobody voted for them. I'm really convinced that there was a team of folks that just pointed the finger and was like, we choose you to run, and we're gonna have you to run against them. And whatever one of y'all that comes out, that's what it's gonna be. That's what I honestly I really feel like that's how it's done. I really feel like that's how it's done. It's a fiasco. And these people just felt like, oh, because I have a little pendant that says I'm a part of Congress, I'm somebody. They ought to be ashamed of themselves because they want America to go down a drain. Okay. These people are not representing us. No, there are a handful of people that I have seen that stood up for the American people, and the media has shut them off. That's why I tell a lot of people, like, you got to be out of your rabbit mind to look at the news media and really think that these people really care for us. They instigate wars. They talk about our commander in chief. They're disrespectful as hell. They need to shut up and sit down, because if the enemy wanted to know what the American people was doing, all they have to do is look at the news, because they got big mouths. As if you ask me, the news media have committed treason on a number of accounts. by sitting up here talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna be going to war. What are we gonna do, you guys? Was America even ready for that? It's like somebody shut her mouth. Shut up. Like when did we ever allow the me? If there was any enemy out there, they say Putin is the enemy, but all he got to do is look at the news and see what the news talking about because they spill all the daggone beans. These people need to shut up. But they don't want you to. They don't want you to get on YouTube and give your truth and your thoughts. They try to shut you down. No, they need to be shut down. I just looked on the news media. I think it was MSN yesterday, and they said, "Oh, Biden just ignited World War III." Who put that on there? What outlet allowed you to say that the president just ignited World War III? You sound like an instigating person ready for a fight to happen. And now one of y'all got a child that's ready, or I don't even, some of y'all may not even be in shape to fight a daggone war. You don't even understand what happens in war. It's bloodshed. People lose their lives, limbs, and some more stuff. Ain't nothing cute about that. And I will honestly say both sides, both soldiers ain't trying to go out like that. They got family and loved ones too. Anyway, y'all, let me hurry up and get out of here because it's time for me to be to work. Y'all have a blessed